All right, so breaking news, a catastrophe has happened in the United States, which is now making the rounds on the internet. Everyone is concerned. No, we're not talking about the Californian fires. No, we're not talking about the price of eggs. We are talking about something far worse, the fact that Elon Musk is using the R word. I mean, I can't even understand how American people allow this. This is a tragedy. I hope that NATO has been told, right? Because this is why the Roman Empire fell. It allowed people to think independently. You're not supposed to do this. A society has to function with every single member thinking the correct things at all times, every time. If we can allow even one person to think differently, it brings ruins into our midst. And the thing with the R word is very interesting because it's in a gray area, right? I don't know if you can say retard on YouTube. For a while, it was considered a slur. After that, it was allowed. Now I'm not so sure, but what I am sure is that you can definitely say retard on Twitter. Now, the reason people are decoupling from woke morality, and the reason everyone is not even reading the article and is pretty much like, how about you go fuck yourselves? Like, are we allowed to say that? Is the word fuck allowed now? Because, like, the same thing with the word fuck, right? When I grew up, you couldn't say it on television. Like it was incredibly problematic. Like, how can we allow as a society for people to say the word? And so people have created these extremely childish games. I like to call them American games because it's specifically to that country. I'm not shaming people from the US. I'm just trying to get you to understand that no one else outside the world does this thing that you guys do. Like, it's particularly to the English language. What I mean by this is that you decide that one word in the situation that when I grew up, it was the word fuck, right? It's a word that cannot be used regardless of the context. Like, even if you were to say, John has got fired because he said the word fuck, you're still not allowed to use it in that context either. And so what people did is they would say the F word instead, right? Just like that, they're doing this mental gymnastic here, where you have an article from the journalist and they have to talk about it in order to discuss what Elon Musk is doing it. They can't say retard, but they will say the R word, right? Like, just back in the day, they couldn't say fuck, they said the F word. And so what happens is, like, the person knows what they're talking about, right? Like, they're talking about the word fuck. But they say the F word, and the person hearing it knows what they're talking about. Why are you acting like children? Why are you acting like imbeciles? Like, this is so fucking childish, isn't it? Right? And it's so petty. It's like an adult game when we play, like, who do we get in trouble? Who used the word? Oh, this person used the word. Let's ruin his livelihood. Let's get him fired. Let's get him sacked. And on top of that, you are giving power to some of the most disgusting people on planet Earth. And those people are the academics in grievance studies. Like, if you're a leftist and you hate the rich, there is no way you cannot hate the academics on the grievance studies because they gorge themselves on the taxpayer money, right? Like, they're worse than the rich because they take the money from the rich and gorge themselves while producing little of value for society. Look at this shit, right? There are people that are actually paid tens of thousands of dollars a month in order to come up with this, and there's an entire grifting chain from the concept of these words onto the television, onto you, and then we have to pretend that by changing these words, we're fixing society. Because again, like a society where you don't have every single person saying the correct things, thinking the correct things, is a society that can't function, right? Like, throughout human history, this wasn't the case, by the way. But anyway, look here. They're going to change the words for wife or husband to be called spouse. They're going to change the word for mother to be called inseminated person. I would pay money to see any politician supporting this go to his own mother on Mother's Day and say happy inseminated person day. Right? Like, the idea is like, even like the concept, like, even if this was true, right? Like, the idea is like, let's make a minority of people that's less than 10%. Let's make them feel comfortable, but let's do it at the expense of the overwhelming majority. Like, calling your mother an inseminated person is the most disturbing thing that you can possibly do. I don't even know how my wife would react if our son would call her this. It is, and then you can say, well, yeah, but like it's to protect minority. Well, that minority has a severe lack of compassion if they want to be protected on their feelings, but they can't reciprocate and say, hey, hold on a little bit. This is actually disgusting. Like, you can't say this. And it's also interesting, right? Like, you can see the misogyny in the ideology. So the mother is a inseminated person while the paternity is patronage. Or natural father, right? It's not demeaning to men. It is demeaning to women. And so, like, when you support this stuff, right? When you support this thing right here, you're also supporting this stuff. And the thing here doesn't even make sense, right? Because it's like, okay, let's stop using the R word. Who gets to decide that the R word is a problem? Because you can still use the word cretin. You can still use the word idiot. You can still use the word mentally disabled. Like, you can use, like, any other word, but for some reason, like, this is considered the problem. I think that the reason it's considered the problem isn't because, like, they care about people and human beings. I don't think that the issue is that this word is hurtful. I think that the issue is that this word is an excellent rebuttal to this. I think that their ideology is in problems here, because you can look at this and you can say, wow, this is so fucking retarded, and then move away, right? And you just use the most scientific, accurate way to rebut all of this thesis. And they don't like that, right? Because it's extremely effective, so they want to take the word away from you, which is why Elon Musk is bringing it back. And it's not just Elon Musk. I saw H3 on YouTube do it. I saw Hassan Piker using it. Like, no, this word is making a comeback because it was never a slur. Like, I haven't seen people with disabilities complaining about it. And why? Well, because no one would say this to an actual person that actually has the disability. It's cruel and unusual, right? But you can talk about it when it comes to a situation. You can apply it when it comes to a study. And it can also, of course, be applied based on context to real people as well. You're not supposed to use it against people that actually have cognitive issues because it's cruel and unusual. It's like making fun of a person with no legs for being unable to run. Like, that would be incredibly retarded. No one would do that. It would make you look like an asshole. But a person that does have legs and is sitting on a couch and asks you to bring the remote, which is like 1 meter away from him, you can actually say, well, can't you fucking walk? Are you a crippled or something? That's not like making fun of people that are crippled. You're basically making fun of a person that is healthy and is choosing not to use the abilities that God gave him in order to get the remote himself. You're basically shaming them for being lazy, right? And not appreciating the fact that they can walk. And it's the same thing when you have a smart individual that you know they're smart, but they post stuff like this, right? And so you are shaming them for, despite the fact of having intelligence and being able to think, they are lowering their potential. And the question is, like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, you weren't born this way. Like, you're not misfortunate in order to be unable to have higher cognitive issues, right? Like I can understand someone like that, but I can't understand you. Like, why can't you fucking use your brain? Why do you have to say the most dumb shit imaginable and post it in public? And why do you have to do it on my taxpayer money? That's the question that Americans ask. But anyway, right, so, this article probably won't get any traction. It is Elon Musk's platform. They're hotter at dismay because, again, like these activists, what I definitely think is going on is the fact that they want the moral crusade, right? Like, they enjoy cleaning up society, cleaning the dredges of society by pushing with nonsense, right? Like, by going for the most petty shit, for the most trivial shit imaginable. They think that they're actually making life better for someone, and it's that dopamine rush that they get it through their collectivism, through their, we're actually now, like, I represent the rights of this entire collective that didn't vote for me, but I'm doing activism on their behalf, and what they would want is if you actually use these words, and if you don't use these words, then I'm going to sick my collective on you, and we're going to try and get you fired, try and get you banned from social media, try and get you in trouble, and we're also, like, if possible, change legislation to make these things mandatory. They can't do it in America, but they are trying to do it in some places in Europe. There's massive pushback against it, incredibly unpopular. Just like this thing, like the R word is very popular in my country. A lot of Romanians use it. It's usually not even applied to people, but it's applied to stuff like this. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.